Ideas are meaningless unless you execute. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the podcast. Today, you are in for a real treat. I've got three of my coaches, three of my dear friends inside the office here in Dallas for the first official podcast in the new studio. What's up, fellas? Let's go to Bill Pipes first. Let's do quick introductions maybe for the few people that don't know or have a lot of contacts for you guys. So keep the microphone close. We only got, you guys got to like do the boy band thing and share. Right. So Pipes, talk to any camera you want. Tell them who you are. Give us a little background.
Guys? Bill Pipes, been in the industry since I was 18 years old. Been a coach for 20 some odd years. Yep. Been around you for majority of those 25 years. 100,000 coaching sessions that I've actually done, 50,000 hours. Primarily right now working with larger teams, industrial sized teams, and we're all making that race for 1,000. But the great thing, 1,000 units that is. The exciting thing is they all started where probably a lot of the listeners are right 100%. Now, which is at 5 transactions, 20 transactions, 50 transactions. Just started leveling up and stayed involved in the ecosystem and continued to actually grow and learn and stayed humble and hungry, man.
I love it. Love it. All right. So Jeff, the microphone is closest to you, and then JP can pull it in.
I've known these guys for at least probably 25 years, and I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and the clients that I work with are crushing it on teams and brand new agents to team players as well. And I think I looked at my numbers of the 60 clients that I coach, half of them are on track to make $1 million this year. So we're going to share some ideas that work right now.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Jason, fire away.
My name is Jason Pantana, and I've been a business coach with this amazing company for the past 6 years. And man, it's been an incredible year. You actually reminded me that I'm about the same ratio with my clients. I don't have I coach about 44 clients. We're about on track for at least half. Yeah. In fact, of that now, about 20 of those clients have already crossed over $1 million in production. So I'm pumped for this conversation. Yeah. And you know what? It's not just the market. It's the marketing you do in the marketplace. And so a lot of the conversation today is going to be super fun and tactical and rapid fire, and so I'm happy to be a part of this little group.
Yeah, love it. So for the people, whether you're listening audio or video, whichever way, I basically asked them again this question, like, what are the 5 to 6 things that your clients are doing, whether they're luxury agents, brand new agents, building a team, scaling a team. The bottom line is this whole thing should just be called This Works in Real Estate Today. Because collectively, how many clients?
Probably 60.
60, how many?
Early 40s.
Early 40s?
44.
Okay, so we're talking about, let's call it 140-ish, right? Agents from all over the country, U.S., Canada, Mexico.
Mexico.
Right?
Yep.
One in Mexico, Cabo specifically, which I don't even know why they even call that Mexico.
Yeah,
I'm not razzing my friends from Mexico, but like, come on. Cabo is basically Southern California. All right.
California, yes.
So we're going to go round robin. And listen, for the listener right now, what you want to be thinking about is whether you're a brand new agent, a veteran agent, someone that's maybe like just finding me for the first time, we believe fundamentally that if these 3 coaches and all of the balance of the 171 coaches that work with us, we all believe collectively that when someone is doing something that's working, if I can figure out what they say, what they do, what they send, how often they send it, the frequency that they do it, I'm not saying that it's going to just drop dead be perfect in your marketplace, but what you don't want to do is reinvent the wheel in this game. Instead, you want to find out what the most successful people are doing and do what we say is R&D, which if you're coming from the world of business, no, I don't mean that R&D, I mean rip off and duplicate. You want to find what the most successful people are doing and steal it. So today is an opportunity for you to basically tap into 3 of our 171 wildly successful coaches and their best clients. So who wants to go first, guys? What's working right now in this? So Jeff, you look ready.
Yeah,
so
I'm ready.
And by the way, if one of you has the same idea, you got to cross it off your list. All right.
I'm going to give a shout out to a client that I coach in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and you're going to like this. Robert Yazbek, you were there recently.
Yes, I was just with him.
Hey, watch this. He's doing client events called Tacos and Tequila. Okay, and watch this.
Well, we're going deep right away here.
Right. We're getting right to it.
Yes,
that'll make people show up.
Right. Yeah, that will cause people to show up.
Right.
Yes.
But here's what's interesting. They're doing it on Friday nights at 4 to 6 o'clock.
Perfect.
Not on a Saturday or Sunday.
Right.
More people, and what they're finding is more people are showing up, hanging out. They've actually brought in a chef. They may have margaritas or maybe a shot of tequila. It's not a big barn burner blowout, but people seem to stay a little bit longer.
Right.
They're inviting expireds and for sale boners. Great idea.
No way. Yeah. Are they showing up?
They are showing up. There was an expired recently on house was across the street, and they invited them. They showed up and they said, at the end of that, we need to talk to you. But hey, Tom, the real results are they've done 2 in the past month.
Yeah.
And they've already got a reputation. Other agents are saying your open houses are legendary.
Right.
Now, are people describing your open houses as legendary and getting 40 to 60 people show up at a time?
Right.
So here's what happened. They've had 4 offers the day of the open house. People they didn't know showed up to Tacos and Tequila, started hanging around, looking around, and go, I think we want to make an offer on this. And
So I didn't get the context. Did you guys get the context? This is actually at an open house.
This is at an open house.
I thought this was just
open
like
house.
he was just like,
Yeah.
come to my house and drink tequila and have
Yeah.
some tacos,
Yeah.
right? So he's doing this is a mega open house.
It's a client event
around
inviting-
tacos and tequila, inviting past clients and Sphere plus expireds and FSBOs,
Yeah.
and open to the public.
And they have a band that shows up. I mean, they make it an event, and their idea is to do this twice a month. And so far, they've sold both houses that they did this on.
Yeah.
And they wrote it themselves. They were on the other side of the deal.
They
Genius idea.
generated the buyer themselves from that experience. Okay, so fellas, first one you hear that was it 2010, so I'm dating myself a tad, when we started doing mega open houses,
Right.
coming off REOs, right, where we would have 50 signs out. So it's kind of the same concept, modernized. But aren't you guys thinking, wait a minute, like COVID is happening right now? Like, can you, I guess maybe like you can do this in Colorado Springs?
They can do it there, and they're spreading out. It's a big house that they're doing it on. It's more of a high-end luxury property that they're doing it on. The clients that own the house are super excited about it, and they're making it a thing, almost like, hey, we'd love to schedule you in October and do tacos and tequila at your. They're using it as a marketing ploy to even reach out to expireds and FSBOs.
Right, and a strategy obviously to win the listing. Bill, you're going to say.
I'll say this too. I have a good amount of clients that are actually in California, right?
Yeah.
One of them specifically comes to my mind is Bonnie King up in the Bay Area,
Right.
which is
legendary agent.
iconic agent, and she's also in a area which is very, very conservative when it comes to like concerns and fears about COVID, as is understandable. They did an open house, so all individuals that are thinking right now, oh man, should I or should I not be doing open houses right now? I will tell you, they even in East Bay, they had 125 individuals that actually came through for an open house, right? So the public is there. They're willing to come out, and obviously you want to have that safety first conversation,
Right, of course,
always, right?
always.
But at the same time, I think you're missing out on an opportunity because there's a lot of agents that won't do it for whatever hallucination that they have, and so if you're doing what others aren't, then you're going to have what they never will. And so do it safe, right? Do it, like level up on it as well too, to be able to intelligently make it so that people actually remember it. I
go back to the interview I did with Ivy Zellman twice in the last 18 months, and she said, as much as we have fear, and we don't want to make the show about COVID, but we're talking about marketing ideas, but as much as fear is in the marketplace, home buying has trumped COVID. She's like, I mean, and everyone listening right now watching this knows, like, what's happening in real estate right now. So with that said, okay, that's number one. Jason, grab this microphone. Might be a little easier move for you there. All right, or just like
we'll just
push Bill out of the way. Yes,
right.
I got Manny Mo and Jack over here. This is good. All right. So what do you got for us?
This is an interactive show. I like it. All right, let's talk about Google My Business. So I have several coaching clients. Literally, it doesn't matter where you're doing business. You could be in Europe, you could be in the US, you could be in Canada, you could be anywhere in the world. And Google My Business is going to be a mainstay opportunity for you to actually get the phone to ring. So we're calling it Make the Phone Ring with GMB, Google My Business.
Make the phone ring with GMB.
You like
down
that?
with GMB? Yeah,
GMB,
you know me.
Make the phone ring. All right, so what is Google My Business? Google My Business is when somebody looks for a local service provider. It could be plumbers, it could be electricians, it could be real estate agents. We know more and more that the consumer is starting their search on Google. For any kind of a local service provider, the question is, are you going to rank in those searches? And so that's the opportunity we're capitalizing on. So I'm thinking of, in particular, Sandra Pike. She is running a Rockstar team in Halifax, Nova Scotia in Canada. And she gets, let's call it a half dozen to a dozen inbound phone calls per month for free of people who are basically saying, hey, I found you on Google. We want to sell our property. Or in some cases, we want to buy and sell, or there's a variance in terms of whether they're buying or selling, but it's free opportunities. And so the way that this game works, and there's a lot of technical details we could break down, but it's simply go to business.google.com/create, get your profile set up or claim it, focus on adding a lot of photos, add a lot of reviews, and then add your business name. And when you add your business name,
this is the key distinction.
This is the key distinction. So Google tells you one thing and does another. And so they tell you, hey, you should not stuff keywords in the title of your business. So in other words, don't cram it full of real estate agent, realtor, and all those types of terms unless that's part of your business name. Yet the algorithm on Google search actually goes, look, there's data that proves this. It goes looking for those keywords.
Yes.
So if you can, I'm going to say this gently, lightly include some words that are not off base. You don't want to keyword stuff it or they might suspend your account. But what we're seeing agents do is add the word realtor, add the location in which they do business. So it might say like Halifax Real Estate, Sandra Pike. It's nothing crazy.
San Diego Real Estate, Maxine Gellens.
Exactly. But those terms, the geo modifiers of San Diego there and the geo modifiers of real estate or realtor or something like that, just use one or the other. Don't do all of it.
Yep.
But it helps you rank in Google searches. So what's happening is people are saying real estate agents near me or real estate agent, best real estate agents nearby. They're showing those local results in Google search and they're navigating over to these people's profiles. They're looking at their photos, they're reading their reviews, and they're clicking the button to call them.
Creating trust.
Absolutely.
I know you, I like you, I get you. By the way, let's just talk about it just for a second. I know we're all, helping a lot of our clients really since last summer.
Yeah.
But 3 years ago when GMB really was launched, people are questioning well, what photo should I put on there? I don't know about you guys, but I'm telling them if you drive a Harley Davidson, like attracts like. Put photos of you in every Harley thing. If you got a Vizsla dog, you need to have photos of you. If you have kids, if you're comfortable, put your kids on there because they're like, oh, we're a young family. We're moving to Richmond, Virginia. He's got young kids. And he has a Vizsla dog and a Harley. Yeah. Here's $20,000.
Yeah.
Right? That's basically what's happening right now. So we're amplifying trust with the GMB.
Absolutely.
Right? We're going to come back this morning. I want to go switch to pipes.
All right, let's.
By the way, we have 2 bonkers ideas already.
Yeah.
And now you might be asking yourself, wait a minute, so they're half his clients are making $1 million a year, 40% of or whatever the numbers are, right? So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Bill.
So I'm going to go and lean into the past clients in the sphere of influence database right now.
Yep.
Because if you look at the data that comes in from National Association of Realtors, they've established that over 70%, I think the exact number is 76% of all listings right now are coming from past client sphere or referrals from those 2 sources.
Right.
So,
we saw it in the data from our survey of our own clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see it in the numbers even of the teams that are running these big channel accounts as well too, that they still have a large amount of business actually coming from past clients in sphere. So what we launched, thinking about why it is that so many people go to Zillow. Why so many people go to Zillow isn't just for the home search. They do it because they want to know what their estimate is, no matter how accurate or inaccurate it is. Right. And so we said, why don't we just bypass Zillow and we start doing what's called a CMA a day, right? Something that's
CMA a day.
CMA a day.
All right. I can't think of a song that goes with that one, but I'm going to find one. CMA a day.
Super manageable, very easy, and it's a 3-step process. Number 1 is you send out a CMA with an email that says, hey, was thinking about you because the home prices and such in your area have gone up. Rather than you waiting for you to reach out to me, I thought I'd send this to you. Please, I'll be giving you a call. This is the key, right? Because there's 3 steps. You can't just send the CMA out via email. You send it out and say, I'll be giving you a call in the next 24 to 48 hours to answer any questions that you might have. Now, that email goes out.
So quick CMA in an email.
And it doesn't need to be like the expanded. It could be Cloud CMA or something very simple. Some people are actually using HomeBot, right? To be able to actually do it as well too. So that's your choice as the user.
Cloud
Number
CMA,
2,
HomeBot, or any other CMA
any other simple solution. Number 2 is that they're shooting a video text that goes out personalized to that client. That's why it's 1 a day. It's manageable, and it just says, "Hey Jeff, I just sent you an email, and by the way, the email says in the subject line." Best email you're going to receive today, right?
So, that's a great,
right?
Best email you'll receive today, and I put $signs on it.
Yeah. So then the video text is, hey Jeff, just sent you an email. I know you probably get a lot of emails, but I wanted to make sure that this is one that you looked at. Be sure to take a look at it. It's about how much money you've actually made in terms of your home over the course of the last 2-3 years. I'll be giving you a call in the next 24 hours. Look for my call. Feel free to reach out to me in advance if you want to, right? Then they make the call in the 24 to 48 hour window, right? That's step number 3 is the 24 to 48 hour window. And it's just like, what question? It's not a sales call.
Right.
It is a 100% service call. Like, hey, what questions do you have? Is, what do you think about this price? Is this a price that you agree with, don't agree with? By the way,
have you got any other upgrades that I should know about?
Yeah. At what price? And then they get on the phone and they after during that conversation, they say, well, at what price would
would you consider selling your home? Is this the price that you'd consider? Or is there a price that actually is in the future? Yep. Now, here's the numbers on this, because we've been doing this now for about 5 months, since the beginning of summer, or a little bit before the beginning of summer. For every 16 to 17 is the range of these, right? That people that they're having the conversation. Right. By the way, if they don't respond, then you don't track them down, and you're not like, you know, like, hey, you don't call them a whole bunch of times, right? They've got it, it's fine. Every 16 or 17 of these that are going out, they're getting a listing presentation, like a legitimate listing presentation where they're sitting down, and on top of that, whether they list now or not, what they're doing is they're loading the cannon, right? Either they're taking the listing right now, or they're loading the cannon for the future, where you can look at it and go, hey, they're not at that price, but if it goes up 50,000 more, right? Then I know that these two lines are going to, converge. I'm going to call them in January. I'm going to call them in December. 100%. I'm going to make that call in advance, right? And say, hey, you know that price you've been waiting for? We're almost there. Yeah. Right? So
you said a line.
We can't hear you, man.
Oh, you said a line.
I got to get these guys. We got to definitely get a microphone in this place. We were not prepared today.
You said a line that makes a lot of sense earlier that I wrote down. Is like, have you had any thoughts of moving in the next couple years?
Yeah.
Because most people are saying, you want to move now? You want to move now?
So, Jeff, it's not even, have you had any thoughts of moving in the next couple of years? It's, what are your plans with the home for the next couple of years, right? Because if you come on too strong with this, or you plan on moving, automatically the resistance jumps up, right? It's, hey, what are your plans with the house for the next 2 to 3 years?
Because people forget, you're talking to homeowners, not leads. These are homeowners that you're trying to convert to leads.
These are people that were referred to you, or they, you nurtured them.
Well, these are your past clients.
Right, exactly. Just your past clients. So let me ask you guys all, so Bill, go back to the microphone. So maybe right now there's a brand new agent listening to this, and they're like, oh, tacos and tequila, GMB. Okay, I'm gonna have to Google that. I can figure that one out, but maybe I can create it. But like, I don't have any reviews. I haven't done any transactions, right? And now you're telling me the number one thing where all the listings are coming from are past clients, and I'm brand new and I have none. What can I do with this?
No, sphere of influence too. That's the thing that you've got to recognize. Even if you're a brand new agent, you have friends. Even if you're a younger brand new agent,
right?
Your friends may not be, like homeowners, but their parents are, their aunts and uncles are. I'll lean on something that Jason could probably take the ball and run with as well too. If I was a brand new agent, thinking back to what I would be doing, I would be pumping out as much content as I possibly can, studying the market, utilizing Keeping Current Matters, right? So
he's like, you're stealing my second.
Cross the next one off too, right? So,
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So so that you can start to position yourself so they're not thinking of you as, hey, here's Bill, the the friend of my football player, son, whatever. No, this is Bill. Wow, look at that. He's putting some really valuable information out right now for me. You've got to shift that narrative around who you are as a new agent to the sphere that you actually have, and the only way that you can do that is through the content that Jason has talked about, right? And the process of doing that. So I would be pumping as much content. Number one, I would be looking at all of my friends. If I'm younger, right, which I imagine like in my 20s, if you look at the average home like age that people are buying, it's in their probably early 30s for their late 20s, early 30s for their first house. I'd be thinking aunts, uncles, who can I talk to, right? All of that, and doing that CMA a day strategy, right? But you change the dialogue and say, I know you know me as this. However, right, I've either joined a new team or I'm now part of a company, and I wanted to give this out to you because there's a lot of resources out there to get the value of your home that are inaccurate, right? And so then you begin to shift that narrative around who you are.
And you can 100%. Has anybody taken the time to show you the actual value? Not an internet generated, but the actual. Has anybody taken the time?
No.
Well, no. Let me put it together for you.
Yeah.
Right? I would also say, like, if you're the new agent, I totally support the idea. I struck through the text. I crossed it off. You should be doubling down, tripling down on creating content that adds value as you learn, as you go.
Yep.
And I think a lot of agents might struggle with, well, I don't know that much yet. I'm like, well, you only have to know one video ahead at a time.
Right.
And then you find the next video, and then the next video, and you keep your body of work constantly evolving your state of knowledge.
Yeah.
But I would also say there's a strategic opportunity to actually ask a lot of questions. And so what does it look like in your not your content as much, but doing Ask Me Anythings on Instagram and saying, hey, what was your experience working with a buyer's agent or a listing agent, and trying to learn what were the pitfalls and mistakes of predecessors and other agents that you can learn from and that you can improve upon and that you can then create content around, because all of a sudden now your stickiness as a brand is like, wow, she does it different. He does it different. I want to work with somebody like that. Wow, that's the new.
She's calling out a relatable pain that we experienced. We bought that house 6 years ago. The agent made us all these sort of post-transaction relationship promises and didn't fall through on anything. Therefore, all agents are the same. The reputation becomes that, and you're changing the narrative.
Because you think about, like, a lot of agents are like, I don't know, I'm not as experienced as so-and-so is.
Right.
And I'm like, well, there's some benefit in that. You have a fresh perspective.
Yes.
Go out and learn what they're not paying attention to. What are those pain points? And then double down on them, twist it, and make that a source of your content.
I love it. Okay, I'm going to try and keep us on track here. So I think we only have 3 points so far. That was like a
All right.
2A.
Hey, Tom,
what's the number 1 or number 2 thing on your list?
I'm super excited.
Who is this for?
This is for Candace Decker, the
Real
team
estate
that I coach, and this is so basic. You go to Zillow, and this could be a new agent, this could be an experienced agent. This is for homeowners that maybe there's a buyer that you're looking in a certain area for, or maybe an area that you're farming. But you go into Zillow and you type in their address and you print out the Zillow form on their property. Everyone's got one.
Yep.
And then, as old school as this is, you put a little sticky note at the very top, and it said, call me to find out why this number is wrong. Put your business card in there and mail it. They sent out 20 of these a couple weeks ago. They had 9 callbacks. 9 callbacks that turned into 3 listing appointments.
So it's like almost another form of circle dialing.
Right.
You're going, hey, I got a buyer. There's no homes on the market.
Right.
You want to live in this subdivision.
Right.
You go in and you narrow the street down and you take every 3-bedroom, 2-bath criteria.
Yep. Print
and
it
you
out.
print out
Put a
the
little
Zillow
sticky
profile
note.
of the house.
But here's the key. Call me to find out why it's wrong. I didn't say whether it was high. I didn't say whether it was low. We got to understand, homeowners get really defensive about the value of their home.
Yes.
So they're going to say, this is too high. Can I really get that? Or this is too low. I want more. It just starts a conversation. And we know that every sale starts with a conversation with buyers and sellers. And it's making the phone ring. So great idea.
I love it. All right, Jason, you're up.
All right. I'm up. We were talking about this earlier today before we started recording. We were talking about being able to control and be at the starting point of that customer journey, whether it's a buyer or a seller, being there first, because that initiation is worth a lot. And I think a platform that a lot of people are overlooking is YouTube. Specifically, I think they fail to realize that YouTube is a search engine. So I'm talking to any agent right now who is prepared to make really good quality video content and become that knowledge broker, but specifically on YouTube. So I would look at a tool called TubeBuddy, which you've talked about on the show before. So with TubeBuddy, it's basically a browser extension. It's like $8 or $9 a month for the paid version. There's a free version too that works as well. The paid version's better, but whatever. And it plugs into Google Chrome. And so when you go into YouTube, you can literally conduct a search phrase on YouTube, and then it will bring up this widget called a Keyword Explorer, or it will break down what are the related searches. How competitive is that search phrase? Are there other videos that will rank in the search results versus you? Because I think a lot of people don't realize that YouTube is not a social network. It's a search engine. It's owned by Google. If you look at the data, Google is the #1 website and search engine on the planet. #2 is YouTube. I actually looked at it this morning. I was like, well, how big is Bing? I think Bing has like 6% of the search engine
Total
space.
search,
It's Google's. This is Google's land. It's their world, and YouTube's by extension. And we're seeing an increased power of people searching YouTube for, how do I do this? What about this? Where do I start with this?
For sure.
So they're conducting a lot of, I think your brother, like Patrick's called it the research phase buyer, the research phase seller.
Right.
They're doing a lot of research on YouTube, and especially right now because we're seeing with people being able to work remotely, we're seeing people say, hey, I could move here, I could go there. So we're seeing all kinds of relocation for all types of reasons, which is driving people to learn more about where should I go? And they're going to YouTube. So this is long-winded. I'll get to the point. You use a tool like TubeBuddy to conduct research on what are the phrases they're searching for. They want to know the pros and cons of moving to Texas. They want to know which Texas city is the best one to move to. You do the research, find the answers to those questions, and you provide the videos, and somebody types in the search, there's your video, and all of a sudden you're the starting point.
I just want to make sure that everybody got that, because this is something we've talked about in great detail. Through TubeBuddy, TubeBuddy will tell you human beings are searching for these specific phrases. Best home, best school, best whatever, blah, blah, blah. And TubeBuddy will tell you people are searching for this, and they'll also tell you, and there are no videos answering this specific question. Y'all know what I'm talking about, because did I just say y'all?
You did. Welcome to Texas.
I've been in Texas for a year.
Boy, howdy.
Well, let's not go that far. Okay, no, I'm not rousing my Texas friends, but just saying. But think about that. Like, so we've all done a search on YouTube before where we're looking for something very specific. And what you get oftentimes is something that maybe has that tag to it, but they don't actually answer your question, right? They give you a bunch of information, but you're like, no, this is not what I wanted,
Bounce.
right? So instead, we're talking about, like, imagine a world where 1,500 people a month are saying, best school district in this part of town, or why are most people moving to blah, whatever it is, and then you are the only one there with a video. And what if it only has 300 views?
So what? Those are great views.
Those are 300 high quality, high intent views. So that's a killer.
But
killer
what
idea.
if, can I double down on it?
Please.
What if you want to get in on a search phrase that has a ton of other videos in the competition and you're never going to cut through the noise?
Right.
What if I could give you the max pass to cut the line?
Dude, give me the max pass.
So you
going
can-
from y'all to dude, so I feel already, I'm already back.
I reckon I could do it. So there are different types of YouTube ads.
Yeah.
YouTube ads are
Yep.
deployed through Google Ads because Google owns YouTube.
Yep.
So you would go to ads.google.com. There's a
Yep.
type of YouTube, there's two types of YouTube ads. There are in-stream ads, which is what you're used to seeing.
Yeah.
Those are the commercials that play before, during, and
Right,
after videos.
right.
Ignore those.
Yep.
Then there's one that nobody uses called video discovery ads. Video discovery ads allow you to literally figure out, again, use TubeBuddy, find out the keywords and the phrases people are searching you want to rank on, and then you can actually bid on those keywords so that your video ranks at the top of the list in the search results.
It's like a Google Local Services ad for YouTube.
Yes.
It's brilliant.
Yes. Now,
Have you created content on this yet?
I recorded it 2 days ago and it's not out yet.
Okay.
By the time this
you
comes
heard
out,
it here
it'll
first,
be out.
ladies and gentlemen. All right, all right. So video discovery ads. I mean, that's basically that's
It's a max pass.
that's basically what Google is. So perfect. All right, Bill, are you up?
Okay, yeah, I'm up. So I'm gonna.
Let's
I'm
put the
gonna
glasses
say- I'm
on,
gonna say
ladies and
3
gentlemen.
words.
All right.
Skill-based market.
Okay.
Skill-based
market.
Right.
Grab the
I
microphone.
absolutely believe. First of all, this is a perfect storm right now. Everyone has been fatigued with having to write up so many offers for buyers, getting beaten out, even the best offers getting beaten out by cash offers, et cetera. We've obviously seen an adjustment that's taking place nationally in the market, minus a couple of different locations and different marketplaces. And I've watched agents. First of all, I've watched their mindset go, oh my gosh, what's happening? Is this a complete turnaround? No, it's just a slight adjustment. I'm calling them micro adjustments. There's micro adjustments that are taking place in the market right now. Where inventory is up by 10% or up by 11%. It's not a huge increase.
Days on market went from 6 to 27.
Or-
Oh my
or
God, the
even-
market slowed down.
Or even 6 to 15, right?
Yeah.
But see, people go, well, it's not that much of a move. I'm like, hey, it's a micro move that you can use as a narrative right now to be able to get actually buyers and sellers off the fence to be able to act right now.
Yeah.
So I put together what's called the get their ass off the fence script. It's the name of it. So
I'm sure if you Google that today, you will find Bill's version of this script
get
written
their ass
down.
off the fence.
He-
But here's the
Get
deal: is get their ass
off
off the fence.
We're just
fence.
rhyming.
It's the
It's another half rhyme. going on.
GYAOTF.
Giota.
It's another song title.
Giota.
All right.
And what it does, it basically has the typical opening that we teach in terms of a follow-up script. Hey, Tom, it's Bill Pipes over here with Banana Real Estate. I'm calling you back like I said I would. How are you? Hey, Bill, I'm doing great. Wonderful, Tom. The last time that we spoke, which was back in May, you said that your goal was to actually move into a larger house because you and the family have grown a little bit. You're going to be spending more time at home. Is that still your plan? And is your time frame still by the end of this year? Well, Bill, yeah, it is. Excellent, Tom. Hey, do me a favor. Tell me, what have you heard is happening in the local market today?
I've heard the market is completely on fire and there's no homes to buy, and that's just been crazy.
Yeah, completely understandable. And there's a lot of people that have that hallucination right now based upon what we've seen, understandably, in the first 6 months, in the last 12 months. Let me share with you the reality of what is actually occurring in the local market today and why it's a huge benefit for you as a buyer.
Tell me.
Okay. Then I'm going to go through inventory. I'm going to compare or a couple key data points. I'm going to compare inventory levels, days on market, number of price reductions, 30-day window of homes that have come on the market versus homes that have sold. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to say, here's where we were in April or May, and here's where we are right now, and talk about the increase or the decrease, depending upon what it is, right? And then when I get to the very end of that, because that's the thing. And David Childress and I were talking about this. Yeah.
The less showings, lower interest rates.
You got it.
Your homes are a little more on the market.
Yeah.
But home prices are appreciating, so
Yeah.
you're going to be competing with less buyers.
You have to say that this is still a competitive market. However, right, what we're seeing is there's more opportunity for you, right? And then once I've presented that data, and there's a lot of talking that you may do at that point comparatively, I have to turn it around and I have to ask them a question. That question is, so Tom, how do you see this playing into your advantage? Right, as a buyer, or Tom, why do you see that you need to take action now as a seller, right? Because this dialogue can be used on both, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to use a 3-stage close, a 3-set descending yes set close. I'm going to say, Tom, you do want to take advantage of this opportunity in the market, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, and you do see why it is that's important for us to potentially actually meet right now, or to take action right now, right?
I mean, I definitely see there's a window. There's a moment in time.
Well, and normally what we're finding is they kick back and go, well, if the market is actually dropping, then why wouldn't I just wait?
Sure.
Right? So give me that objection really quick.
Bill, it sounds like the market's actually slowing down, and I should probably wait and be able to take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, and Tom, I totally agree that like when you look at this data, you would think that the market is continuing to shift and would continue to shift down. Can I share with you what makes me nervous about you waiting?
Sure, please.
Do you know how interest rates impact affordability for you as a buyer?
Yeah, I'm aware of the concept.
You're aware of the concept. Okay, so you know, Tom, that if rates go up 1%, that your ability to be able to purchase a home goes down 10%. So if you're looking, like in your case, you had said you're looking at about a $500,000 home. Instead of that $500,000 home, we're now looking at $450,000, right? For you to maintain the same price, right? And Tom, we're already having a hard enough time at $500,000. I wouldn't want you, like, in terms of what you want and having everything that you need, you don't want to drop down to $450,000, do you?
No, but are you saying interest rates are going to go up?
So according to 4 of the major reporting industries, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, National Association of Realtors, and the National Mortgage Bankers Association, right? And you can, by the way, guys, you can find this data on Keeping Current Matters. It's on their Instagram page and on their site. Rates are projected, which they're at 2.88 as of today in this conversation. They're projected to go up 3.6 by Freddie. They're projected to go up to 3.0 by Fannie. They're projected to go up 3.5 by NAM, and then 3.3 or 3.4 by NAR.
Basically 2 to 3.
Yeah,
Right.
basically, it's going to go from 2 to 3.
to low to mid 3s.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Tom, really, the longer that you wait, the more you open yourself. It's not going to be in February, Tom, that all of a sudden the rates jump up. It's going to be a gradual increase over the course of the next couple of months. So the longer you wait, then the more that you're going to have to pay, or the less you're going to be able to afford.
Yeah.
You don't want either one of those situations, do you?
No.
Okay. So Tom, all that we need to do is simply, and then I'm going to close on them at that point.
All right.
Okay.
So you started this by saying it's a skill-based market, right? He's like, yay, right?
That was pretty good.
And by the way, if you're listening to this, you might want to just go rewind, not
Yes.
rewind. I guess you just put your slide on your finger. And that's my version of. I rewind all the time.
Double
I
tap the left
slide
side of the
back.
screen and it goes back 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Shut up, Jason. Jason's always going to put up us like, all right, what are you, 20?
I wish.
All right.
But bro, if you don't know what to say right now,
I agree.
You're dead in the water. And I honestly, and I mean this with due all respect to every single agent that's out there, we have as an industry, because the market has been so strong, got a little bit lazy with our skills, and the market has done a lot of the heavy lifting for us, minus the frustration that we have of having to get offers accepted. Listings. Hey guys, start working on your price reduction conversation. Start working on your pricing, conversation inside your listing presentation, because the homes that are selling right now, the homes that are sitting right now, are the ones that are overpriced. The condition isn't that great, but there's still major multiple offer situations that are taking place in every market for the well-priced, great conditioned home, right? And how do you get the price right? By actually knowing what to say and saying it powerfully.
Right. Everybody knows what we're talking about right now. You go on, like, there's nothing on the market. And you're like, except for those same blank number of homes that have been on the market for the last 18 months.
Yeah.
Okay, who's going next? Jeff?
Yep.
All right.
Another great idea. One of my clients, Amol Heda up in Silicon Valley, in that area, he's pulling tax records.
I'm literally going to walk over.
and make sure it's right there.
I have some tape. We can
Right.
Tape it? Yeah.
Hold them in place.
Jeff was in a band, and he was the singer that did this, like.
Did you get that? So Amol Heda up in Silicon Valley, I showed you the slides of what he's doing. He's going in tax records, and he's pulling up. You can get the data around what kind of mortgage rates homeowners have. He found even in Silicon Valley, he's like in an area where everybody,
the smartest,
right, they're so
engineers.
smart. He pulled 1,000 homeowners and determined that 400 of them had rates of 3.5% or higher. Why is that important? Now he's reaching out to them and saying, hey, let's just have this discussion about refinancing right now. And I think most agents go, well, how's that going to benefit me?
Right.
Right.
I'm not in the mortgage business.
Right. But it still, again, starts a conversation. Starts a conversation of, have you thought about moving? Have you thought about taking advantage of this equity? Or have you thought about taking that equity and purchasing other properties and creating income? Mailbox money basically is what he's doing. So it's working.
So where's he getting the data?
He's pulling. He's in California and he's getting it from his we can pull the data in our MLS.
Where do you get it from? Yours in Richmond, Virginia?
Just right in tax records, right in our MLS system.
Okay.
But I think he's getting it either from his transaction coordinator or somebody along the lines. What do they use for closings? Escrow title.
Yeah.
Title.
Yeah.
I can't think.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not good. We're in the middle of a podcast and he can't think.
I forgot.
And he's still giving us a bunch of brilliant ideas.
Right. But,
what's going to happen when he starts thinking?
Right. But it's leading to a conversation and it's working for him.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, maybe Remine or another data mining solution that would have that.
Yeah.
So everybody, just the key is find out all the homes maybe in your farm or in a geographic territory where you've got buyers and there's no homes on the market, what's everybody's interest rates, and call and engage in the conversations with the people that have high interest rates.
Yep.
And the worst case scenario is they don't want to move, and you just said, hey, let me get my loan officer to reach out to you and let's get you guys at least a better rate, right? Like that's just a do-good move that's going to pay benefits in the future forever. All right, Jason, I think you're on number 3.
All right, number 3 is the ever exciting weekly email recap.
Yes.
All
Okay,
right.
by the way, email is so underrated right now by the vast majority of people, and email is the number 2 driver of business success for most business owners that I know.
If you look and listen to any kind of a digital marketing influencer who's going to be teaching, they're always going to say email.
Yeah, first.
I can talk about ads all day. I can talk about social media content all day. But email has all the data to back up its efficacy as probably the single best channel for getting your content out. So this one kind of comes on the
before you say this, I want to share I read a emotional sentiment report from January 2021 around email, and it was like the percentage of people that want an email every day from brands they trust, multiple times per week, minimum once per week, and that total, when you look at the 3, was like 53% of consumers want at least something from you every week.
I think that's a massively underserved channel because a lot of agents are like, I couldn't email them more than once a month because this is a confession of my email sucks. And so therefore, if I send it to them every week, my opt-out rate, my complaint rate, the abuse rate is going to go up.
Yep.
So the answer
because the email is only about you, not about the person you're trying to serve.
Exactly. So the obvious answer is, well, fine, you can either not take advantage of the email. I would ask the question of, why are you bothering sending an email at all?
Right.
And the answer is because I want them to see my name in the inbox. And I'm like, what if when they see your name in the inbox, they associate it with getting that email they hate to get constantly?
Right.
It's a bad association.
Bad reputation management. Okay.
So the key is, obviously, it's got to be a value-add email. I like the idea of a weekly email recap. So I'm thinking about the FAR Group Northwest. It's a husband and wife team, Aaron and Krista Farr in Spokane, Washington. One, they are already crushing it on just about every social channel, on Instagram, on YouTube, online. And they're super I'm having a Jeff moment right now.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me.
Bill, come to my side. The brains are over here, buddy.
I was going to say they're crushing it with traditional channels too. So like postcards, farming, and so forth. But their weekly email recap is one of their best points of touch and impression with.
So what's in the email weekly recap? I mean, I conceptually have a thought around it. What is it?
It's sort of like competitive edge that you send out.
Yes.
It's basically, hey, I'm already making a lot of content throughout the course of the week, throughout the course of the month. I know that it's sometimes difficult to keep up with all the content. You don't want to miss anything. Let me give it to you in a digest where you can once a week, and I like the idea of once a week, you can consume it all at your own leisure, your own pace.
Smart.
And you have that conversation. But here's the trick. Because your content should always be value add. I'm not saying you don't do like just listed and just sold and stuff like that, but you should have content where you're contributing your knowledge, where you're contributing your experience and expertise. And because of that, you're giving. This goes back to Gary Vaynerchuk's jab, jab, right hook.
Exactly.
I'm going to give, and then I can have a CTA, but it can be inside that same weekly email recap.
Yes.
So what you should do is when you send out this email, you should also include some basic calls to action, like, hey, do you want a free home valuation? Hey, do you want to search for homes? Do you want to schedule a consultation with me? So as they scroll down looking at your content, you can continually kind of offer soft little closes to connect. Something that I've been talking about a lot with my clients when it comes to email and social at large is, are you approachable? In other words, are you creating the opportunity where you're saying, hey, you can talk to me about this, or you can talk to me about this. I think a lot of people just wait for someone to call them because they want to list their home or something like that. I'm like, you're missing the opportunity to initiate the conversation sooner. So I know I'm kind of conflating some ideas.
But Jeff's saying it all starts with that first conversation. Then you have to know what to say. And you're like, I'm trying to create some engagement.
And this email is a great space to initiate that first conversation, and then the trickle effect takes place. Weekly email recap, you got to be making content, but that's an opportunity folks are missing. In terms of providers, they can use BombBomb, they can use MailChimp, they can use Constant Contact, Aweber, ConvertKit. It doesn't matter. One pro tip I will give is if you're sending a new email, I would think twice before you make your reply to address your main email address. Because you have a sender reputation as an emailer. You have a sender score. And it's based upon a lot of factors, one of which is the company you use to send emails. If you're using one of those freebie email providers that sends mass email on your behalf, there's a really good chance you're on a shared server with about 500,000 other realtors who understand not much about email and they're spamming people. And so if they get accused of spam by their list, by extension, you are too. And if you use your email address with that list, your regular email address, it goes down in flames right there with it. So there's two morals. One, pay to be on a better private server when you send emails. And two, I would recommend getting a Gmail address that's just for this list and using it as the reply to address. That way you're sheltered from your primary domain, because I've talked to agents who they have to text agents, hey, I submitted an offer, did you get it? Because their emails go to spam because of bad list management over past years. So don't be guilty of that.
So I want to go back. It's interesting. One of the things that we started doing with a bunch of my clients was the same thing. It's like, hey, once a week, you're like, it's not only like, hey, here's the best piece of content that got the most response or the most Q&A, the most like engagement, but they're also saying, here's my happy client of the week. And I just love it. It wasn't my idea. I'm going to space on who it was, but they're like, wouldn't it just be great? It's just a photo of me with like the new home buyer, right? And to be able to show, especially for a lot of our high-end clients, like, hey, here's the $12 million sale I made, but here's the $400,000 condo I did or $200,000 condo, because like they truly have that range and they want to keep broadcasting, you know, hey, call me when you have a $300,000 sale. Because I do those also, not just 3 million, 5 million, 12 million, et cetera, right? So I love that one. I also loved best new restaurant in town, best new thing that I discovered in our community. Have you seen this? What do you know about it, to try and create engagement? My question for you, and maybe it's too advanced, is when they open up that email, are they opening up on that agent's domain, or are they just reading the email?
They're just reading the email. So,
and do you all get the difference of what I'm saying here? Because I want the traffic back to my website.
So here's what you're going to do. They're going to open the email in whatever their email provider is, Outlook, Gmail, whatever it is. The reply to address is what I was talking about a second ago with the Gmail address. That's neither here nor there.
That's just reply, hey, thanks so much, blah, blah, blah.
You're going to hyperlink the living daylights out of all the different content. And my recommendation is, and this is probably going a little bit into the weeds, if you're making content for Facebook and Instagram and elsewhere, the same content that is repurposed in this email should also be repurposed as blog post. Whenever, like I do this, whenever I post a social, you're going to find the same thing on my blog too, because I want to build that SEO opportunity. And if you open up my email, it's going to go to my blog. I want the traffic on the website.
On my website, so not to Facebook, not to YouTube. I want it on my site. So we actually covered that on a Tom Ferry show eons ago. So you might want to just search for that.
I got the idea from you.
I think it's Tim Ferriss Bulletproof Friday.
Right. Or it's five bullet Fridays.
5 bullet Fridays.
Okay,
right?
speak into the microphone there.
5 bullet Fridays.
By the end of this podcast, I'm going to have the two of you talking into a microphone.
You should get like some strings that you can pull from under the table.
Here's the difference. You guys get to stay at 1. We're back.
Okay.
Would you like to trade again? Oh, we can't give that up.
We went right to Van Halen. Okay, so you got another one. Let's go.
Everyone loves gifts. Right?
Yep.
All business based on relationships. We're talking about that inside of our planning session for Summit. I have multiple clients that right now have identified their top 50 to 100 clients. Typically, it's about 50 because that's a manageable number in terms of both if I'm going to drop gifts off and also a cost basis as well too. And when I say gifts, you don't have to think something huge. You know, hundreds of dollars. It could just be, I've got poinsettias that get dropped off by Ed and Marcos Varga around the holiday time. And like they continue just from that one drop off to be able to actually get 4, 5, 6 listings and buy and sells. Marissa Perez, who does it inside of her farm for all the people that she's actually sold, and she does it about once a quarter where she's dropping off at Easter. She put together this super cute little Easter basket because Easter because most of her where she is celebrate Easter, and she would just drop drop that off. Branded inside of it. Hey,
Right.
I'm just dropping this off for you. Now, if you don't want to do it yourself, these individuals actually take the time to do it themselves. I love Client Giant. There's a lot of my clients that are using Client Giant.
Big shout out to Client Giant in Orange
Big
County.
shout out to Client Giant and Greg Cummings, who actually turned me on to them. Yeah, and he, we ran the test, and I said, okay. He's like, I'm doing this new thing, and I went, okay, let me run the test. We're gonna beta this, and sure enough, he did it for 30 people, and then he came back and he got 4 referrals that ended up within the course of the first 90 days to 4 months, and he more importantly got people
down in San Diego.
He's down in San Diego.
Average sales price.
His sales price probably $1.1
Okay, so he's
million.
working the low end.
Yeah, so
Right.
he's there in Mission Beach. So.
I'm being facetious though.
Yeah.
No, 4 referrals for. Okay, so who did this also was John and Lauren Grauman, right? Who are Beverly Hills. He did a $78 million deal last year. He's done multiple 26, super luxury agent. We're talking about the post John Rulin podcast I did with Giftology.
Got it.
And he's like, I heard that, and he's like, I bought 100 of my top clients the Tony Robbins first financial mastery book, and just handwritten note, mailed it to all of them. People were completely blown away by it. And he's like, I work with all these super luxury people. You would think that they read it, they've been exposed to it, and they're like, we found so much value in that, and it was just one more way to stay top of mind in an uber competitive environment.
Absolutely.
I didn't ask him how many transactions came from it, but he's like, he was so excited just to see the response I got from my customers was so strong. He's like, now I'm just trying to think out what's the next book?
Yeah.
Right?
Destry.
Low cost.
Low
cost.
Destry Johnson.
Of course. I've known Destry
for
forever.
years. Yeah.
Right. Big shout out to Destry.
Destry, motorcycle guy, right?
I
said, we were talking about, because he's been sending things out to his clients on a regular basis. And I said, switch over, try this, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, man. And he looked at it, he goes, they're sending out herb seeds, and what is this? I'm not gonna send
ball bearings and grease.
Right? I remember he was like, I go, bro, just test it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, always be testing.
Always.
And he sent it out, and he called me. We came to one of the coaching calls. He's like, okay. I'm like, what? He goes, I had 7 people call me and say thank you. I'm like, yeah? He goes, and they were all dudes.
That's great.
Good for you, man.
Good.
Right? So just think creatively, right?
Yeah.
And give, right?
Yeah.
Give, because I think about, you got me something, you got me something, you got me something, I've given you something, we've gone back and forth.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
I haven't either,
All
Bill. I've never.
Okay, all right. I'm going to help you with the microphone, Jeff. What's the next idea?
I'm going to hijack on giving gifts. Lauren.
No. We already got gifts. Go to the next one.
All right. How about this?
Okay, hold on. I want to just remind people that are listening to the all of us ham bones here that these guys are all coaching highly successful men and women, individual agents and teams from all over the U.S., high-end prices, low-end prices, everything under the sun. And all we're talking about is stuff that we see that's working right now.
This works.
What's next?
Long Beach, California, Andy Dane Carter.
Big time.
He's
ADC.
crushing it on investors and non-owner occupieds. He's mailing like crazy. What he's saying is, remember when it was a good idea to be an investor? In the postcard, in the mailers, and then he's following up with phone calls.
Yes.
He did $10 million in 1 month in August.
Okay, Jeff, I'm going to have you say the whole thing over again. So when I move the microphone closer to your mouth, it doesn't mean move away from it.
I'm like, that's a little too close.
Yeah.
That's a little
No,
too
it's actually
close.
it's really great if you're super close to it.
Gotcha.
Okay? All right, so one more time. Big shout out to Andy Dane Carter, known him forever.
Long Beach, investors.
So he's working with investors.
Non-owner occupieds, mailing, and then following up with a phone call. As basic as that is, he's making at least 10 calls a day, and it's turning into, he did $10 million in closed volume in August alone.
Okay, so give us context for what is he, so non-owner occupieds, for everyone listening right now, if you haven't gone into Remine or whatever data mining solution you have in your local marketplace through your MLS to say, who owns all the investment properties in my market, right? Listen, investors do not look at if you called me and said, hey, Tom, would you like to sell your place in Dallas? I'd be like, I just moved here and it's home, right? But if you call me and say, I got an offer for you right now for one of your duplexes you're on, I'm like, talk to me.
That's what he's talking about.
Because it's a transaction for me. I'm going to 1031 exchange to something else.
They're not emotional about this.
Exactly.
It's just a number.
Yep.
And I think the key is just getting them on the phone and staying in touch with them.
Right. So what does he say in the initial call? What does he mail to them? And then what does he say in the initial call?
He's mailing I've got a buyer in your neighborhood. We've seen that before.
Sure.
I've got a buyer.
Yep.
Call me. here's what also is working is text me even if you're not interested. Now, why do they do that?
Yeah.
Because they just
That's
agree.
like Robert Cialdini 101, right?
Right.
I love it.
Reverse,
Big shout out to
so
Bob
that
Cialdini.
just says they can stay in contact with them.
Right.
And so then even those that reply, say, I'm not interested, he's still going to send them out a CMA.
Yep.
And he's still going to follow up with a phone call because they reached out to him.
All right, so he mails them a little, cheat sheet on here's the value of that property. You've got it 124 Banana Street. I've got a buyer. You can't talk about the buyer, right? But you can still say, I'm representing a buyer.
Yep.
They want to live in this neighborhood. Blah 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 blah. Can you even say they want to live in this neighborhood?
I don't know.
I need fact check on.
I've got a qualified buyer looking.
I got a qualified buyer looking in the area,
right?
And they want to buy a property. Blah blah blah.
Right.
And then he's calling. How often is he calling?
He's probably. I mean, he's going to talk to them at least 2 or 3 times in a year.
Okay.
Investor. So he's got a target list that he's going after. He's relentless. He's not going to give up. They're starting to say things like, I got your mailer. I see you everywhere.
Right.
I get your postcards. Those things add up. Right. So he's totally focused on the non-owner investor.
Why do you? Okay, so in the U.S., if you've got 138 million homes ish, right, and that number hopefully is going to continue to grow, and there's now 22 million properties that are investors. Right. So fun fact: 80% of the properties that are owned by people like us.
Right. They just own 1 or 2 properties.
One or two properties. It's actually the institutional investor starts at 10 units or more.
Right.
Right. So if you own 10 units or more, you're deemed an institutional investor, and there's a chunk of them, but there's a much bigger chunk at 30, 40, 50, 80, 100, 200, 1,000, et cetera. Why in the world are agents not working these sources?
Makes no sense.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Some of those homeowners are like blended families, and they're like, I don't want to sell the house. Let's just rent it out.
Right.
And then you're taking advantage. Look, we know there's a lot of changes in the Airbnb rules and laws out there. He's targeting them. We know that it's not been great to be a landlord in this type of market with everything going on.
Sure.
He's just reaching out to them to see, like you say, raising hands, seeing if they're interested in talking a little further, or let me take a look at your property and see what it's worth.
Okay.
Start a conversation.
Let me piggyback.
Yeah.
Let me piggyback on this.
Thank you.
Right. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to use Destry as an example.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think one of the more prohibitive parts of any type of non-owner occupied or investor strategy is if you're going to treat it like a demographic farm, which it is, right?
It is.
To be able to market and mail 2 times, because like I can use Murrieta and Temecula and that surrounding area where Destry is, there's over 6,000 non-owner occupieds.
Right.
To actually mail to that 2 times per month is completely cost prohibitive, and the return just isn't quite there. And then you're going to be 18 months if you start it off before you get a huge return on it, as we've seen in a farm. So we were able.
But hold on, I would take that list and I would carve it up to the 500 that are 10 years or older.
Yeah, but wait.
Right, I've already depreciated the asset. Right, I'm more inclined to 1031 exchange, just as an example.
Yeah, there's a way to actually lean back into email marketing that works, because if you utilize Vulcan gives you a chance, Vulcan 7, and there's other sources that do this as well too, that every single month you can pull in an area and actually set it up for non-owner occupieds, like 1,000 email addresses that they have scrubbed, and it's you have the ability to be able to market to that are the non-owner occupied. So it took us 6 months with Destry to be able to get that entire list, but now we're emailing 2 times per month to that list, right? While he's still calling. That's the key. I mean, he's got the numbers, and he's loading them up, and he's calling them. It doesn't work at the level that you need to and that you want it to get the return that you want if you're not picking up the phone and making the calls. Like he's flat out said that. But now what's happening is he's sending his Destry's top 5 picks at the beginning of the month. And those top 5 picks are properties that are investment properties that are coming to market. Now what's happened is those properties are gone. Right? Yeah. However, it piques the curiosity. Of course. Right? Has them call, hey, but that's not available. What it sell for? Right? Because like he's in California. A lot of people are acquiring the non-occupieds. They're liquidating and moving a lot of that capital outside of the state, or buying, or cashing out at this point. So we market 2 times per month via email. He calls 1 time per quarter through that entire list. Right. So far, year to date, he's got 8. Like this was as of last month. He's got 8 transactions that have come specifically just from non-owner occupieds, with an average sales price probably about $800,000 to $900,000 where he is right now.
You know what I love about this? For the person that's listening, it's not that I'm like super hot, or any one of us are like hot on like this is the idea. when we started this company 18 years ago, the general thesis that I had, I remember like sitting with all my top clients. I'm at Shady Canyon. I got Stephen Christie, Maxine Gellens, Carol Garrett, like just all these unbelievable agents. And I'm looking around the room and I'm like, she does a lot of direct mail. He does geographic farming. She does a ton of open houses. This one only works this. This one does this. And like, but then this one also does this and this one does this. And I'm like, wait a minute. They all do like 8 different things to generate clients. And one that generates 8 in 8 months at an average sales price of $800,000. 8 times 8, that still sounds like, right, a pretty big number if it's one source. And then you have your database, then you have your Google My Business page, then you do tequila and tacos.
Yeah.
That's the game, my friends. That's
Tom,
the game.
For most people that are listening right now, one deal a month changes
enormous.
fundamentally
Right.
the quality and the caliber of the life that you're living.
Yep.
So don't get caught up in these huge numbers of
Yeah.
100 transactions, 200, 1,000. Look at it and say, if I just grab this one thing that Jason was talking about and what Jeff was talking about, what Tom Pipes was talking about, and I just begin to actually and I dive deep. You guys have so much that's coming in right now for you guys.
Yeah.
Pick one and dive deep on that, right? And really focus on that for 30, 45, 60 days. Get that up and operational, because I'm of the mindset of I'd rather be a specialist in the short term and be able to go deep than go wide. That's what I've seen with every single person that I've coached that has actually achieved great success. Is they didn't try to be a generalist. They got a specialist in. And when I say specialist, it doesn't mean that their business is just based upon one area. It means that for a short period of time, they focused on one thing to be able to actually expand their business, while the rest of their normal was running in the background as well too.
Love it. Jason, what do you got next?
So I'd like to. So my next one piggybacks perfectly, I think, off of Andy Day and Carter, what you were talking about. So you added email. And you said that Andy is doing postcards, calls, and what other channels is he using?
Text?
Was it text?
Text? No, he just said text me if you're not
Yeah,
interested.
text me if you're not interested.
So it's just part of his CTA.
So I think what you said is profoundly true, that we have access to list data, that we are like absentee owners, and there are other lists, and we're not using it satisfactorily. And there are so many companies that can slice and dice and give you access and permission to use those lists in a limited kind of a way. There's batchleads.io, there's Landglide, there's Remind, there's Vulcan, there's RedX. There's one after the next to get that data. But what do we do with that data? And I think the idea of the email is super savvy. I think you need to be aware of how cold email works.
Right.
There's a difference between opt-in permission email and cold email. There's definitely some legalities to be aware of. I believe you're safe, but I'm not going to give a legal opinion, of course.
Yes. But I would look at conversion.ai, right now known as, what's the new name for it? Jarvis, right? They changed it to Jarvis. They have a box on there that's like writing a cold email, click here.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like the super soft, warm you up. This is how you do it. I want to be able to say you got a property and you've had it forever, blah, 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 blah. And then it writes it for you.
And then go get a different email address for the reply to.
Exactly. Do not send it to your regular one. Right.
But the thing that I think others are missing out on is, hey, do you realize you can take that list data that you've got to have the rights to it. You have to purchase the rights to it, which you can do through Vulcan or Remind or whatever. Do you realize you can upload that into Facebook and to Google and to LinkedIn, for instance?
And to LinkedIn.
And candidly to any other advertising platform, you can actually target people on the basis of whether or not they're in that list. And people will say all the time, wait a minute, I can target people with Facebook and Instagram ads who aren't my followers, who don't like my page.
Heck yeah.
And I'm like, absolutely. You upload your spreadsheet of data.
Isn't that a custom audience?
It's a type of custom audience. Yeah. It's called a customer list. And you go through and basically what Facebook will do is comb through its population of users compared against your list and form matches. It's not going to tell you like, hey, John didn't find a match because of privacy issues.
Yes.
But you have the ability to target your content, target content that could be specifically aimed and relevant, like in the case of Andy Day and Carter, at the idea of, hey, do you want to sell your investment? Do you want to basically cash out and put in a different property? You can have that content hitting them from all different places. And one of the psychology principles that really has a strong impact in how fast marketing performs is this idea of encircling around people. There's something called the frequency illusion. So if you're a consumer and I'm driving down the road and I'm picturing this part in Nashville where I'm going to be driving down 65 South and I'm going to see a sign for Gary Ashton. And then I'm going to get the interstate and I might go to a restaurant and I'm going to see his signage inside that restaurant. And then I might go online and see him on Facebook. And the more channels I see him in, it creates this illusion of frequency that I see him in more places than I really do.
Right.
And so it expedites that top of mind awareness component that brings people to say, I can't escape Andy Dane Carter. This guy's circling in my head, for instance. And so I'm going to take action on that. So I think my next step would be hey, you need to be targeting list. It could be absentee owners. I'm thinking of Scott Sacken.
It could be your geographic farm. It could be an age demographic of sellers. Right.
So like I'm thinking of Scott Sacken in Huntington Beach.
Yep.
So they have what they call the 30 Plus Club, which they target homeowners in Huntington Beach who have owned their properties for at least 30 years, and it's all congratulatory.
I love it.
Same kind of a thing, but the trick is...
What do you mean congratulatory?
Like, hey,
congratulations, you paid off your loan, or you've been here for 30 years.
Maybe celebratory, like I want to love on you. I want to give you value.
Got it. Okay.
I'm not going to act like, hey, ready to sell? It's about time. It's not like
hey,
that.
You're getting old.
Yeah.
No, not a good idea.
No, not that. But it positions them as, hey, we're here for you when you're ready. We want to give you value now.
Right.
We respect the fact that you've invested in the dream of home ownership, and here you are.
Yeah.
So here's what you need to know. Your property might be needing some updates, blah, blah, blah. But the trick is multi-channel.
Right.
It can't just be an email. It can't just be a postcard. It can't just be Facebook. It has to be all the above.
Yep. That's the game. We've been talking about that since, I want to say, episode 56 of the Tom Ferry Show. I kid you not, because I remember like 54, 55, 56, 57, I like laid out our entire campaign, and Marnie, our whole VP of marketing, what are you doing? You're sharing everything that we do. And I'm like, no one's going to execute on it.
Freaking open source
Don't
software.
worry about it.
They're going to give us
and
better
I'm not
ideas.
saying you. She actually thought my competition might execute on it. And some of them have, actually. Congratulations. I can name like 4 of them. All right. So, Jeff, what's the next thing on your list? And I think we're going to do like, this has to be your next best one. Same thing, Bill. Same thing, Jason. Next best one, and then we're done.
You know Zach Gellens down in San Diego?
I know.
Wait.
Zach.
Do you know?
Do you know Zach Gellens down?
Yes, at Zach Gellens. Yes, down in La Jolla,
Recently,
California.
Probably in business a year or two, and we worked on what to say, circle dialing, super important. They've got some listings that they wanted to follow up on. He started calling around homeowners. And now watch this. Let's role play this real quick.
We're talking brand new agent.
Year and a half in the business.
On his grandmother's team.
Yep.
Okay, so love it.
And a little bit nervous getting on the phone.
Sure.
But watch this. Hey, Tom, this is Jeff Mays over at ABC Real Estate. Did you hear about your neighbor? Okay, watch this. He didn't say anything about a house. He didn't say.
Wait, do it again. Do it again.
Did you hear about your neighbor?
No, do the whole thing. I'm in seventh heaven.
Hey, this is Jeff Mays over at ABC Real Estate.
Because you know what their brains are going.
Right.
Yeah. Damn real estate agent.
Then you go. Did you hear about your neighbor? They're gonna go. You could actually. He's like, you could hear them leaning in, going like, who died? Who got arrested? Watch
Who's
this.
sleeping with who?
But watch this. You caught their attention.
Bingo.
Okay, that's the key.
The first time you did it, though, man, you went like, "Hey, it's Jeff Mays from the Gallons."
Did you hear about your neighbor? All right. And then he goes through the story. We recently sold. Tom, do you know the Joneses, a street over at 123 Main Street? Great. Hey, I don't know if you know this. They listed with me. We put their home on the market. In the first 7 days, we had 10 offers and got over 10% over asking.
Wow.
So let me ask you, that house had 2,400 square feet. How's that compare to your house?
I think we're about the same size.
Great. So, hey, I just want to say congratulations. And the reason why is your home just went up in value. And this is probably a little bit of an odd call. But the reason for my call is we've got 4 qualified buyers looking in the area. And they asked me to call you to see if you had any interest in selling in the next couple of years. Have you thought about moving?
We're always thinking about it, but no, right now we don't have a lot of interest.
So let me ask you something. If you were to move, where would you go next?
My kids are definitely getting older. One's almost through college.
Right.
And, we've thought about maybe just downsizing.
Right. So maybe a couple years.
I got to be honest. I know, I get some of these phone calls
Totally
from other
understand.
agents, and it's not really
Totally
something
understand.
we're serious about.
So they got 1.3 for their house. So let me ask you something. If I could get you 1.4 or maybe 1.5, would that change your thoughts around moving?
I'd probably have to talk to my wife about that.
If you could get an extra $100,000 in this market, would you consider it?
I'd be open to it.
Hey,
I'm just trying to think, literally,
totally.
when you start talking about that kind of math, right?
Hey, guys.
I'd be saying no. My wife would be like, tell me more. Honey,
Tell me more.
I would just hand the
Talk
phone
to my wife.
Talk to Kathy.
But hey, don't ever forget this. We do sell a little fear and greed.
Yep.
It's a little bit of the greed. Like,
Yep.
really? I could get that? What would you do with that $100,000?
Yeah.
So then
He's just, okay. And what, Zach is all of 22?
Yeah.
23?
So watch this. We had 100 homeowners that we targeted. He talked to 40 of them over probably a week. He got 3 appointments and got 2 listings from this idea alone. Don't be afraid to get on the phone.
Yeah.
We mentioned it early. It's not a sales call. It's a service call. It's letting them know.
Yeah.
And I think the key is when you say, I'm doing this out of service for my client. My clients wanted me to call you. It changes the tone of that call because it's not like greedy agent just trying to make sales. It's I'm doing this of service for my client.
Right.
And it's been working. So
I love it. Big shout out to Zach.
Yeah, way to go,
He's
Zach.
such a star. All right. Bill?
So I'm gonna
Bill's
take
now grabbing the microphone. Come fly with me. Right now he's ready.
So I'm gonna see your circle prospecting and raise you by 1. So
here we go.
Jason Ferris,
Yep.
our great
Yes.
coach and
Yep.
also amazing agent in Central
Yes.
California,
Yes.
Fresno, California.
Frez,
right?
yes. Big shout out to Frez,
I mean,
yes.
amazing.
Right, you may know it as Fresno, but he is
You-
all about Frez, yes.
Yes. You challenged him to take as many listings in a year as he
Yes.
possibly could. I
Yes.
think the final number was just him, not his team.
Yeah.
It was like 123, 124 listings. Oh, like 76 or 77 of those were actually from circle dialing. Okay.
That's bonkers.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Now, and here's why. And he said this on a coaching session that we actually had, with all the coaches, right? I'm saying, give me your best ideas, just like what we're doing right now. And he said, well, here's the process. The process is you're calling the 50 to 100 homes directly around that listing that you have 3 times. The first call that you're making is, hey, Tom, it's Bill Pipes over here with Banana Real Estate. I'm the agent that is listing the house. The Joneses that are right down the street
154
trusted
Banana
me
Street,
to be
yep.
able. And you know what? I'm giving you a call because you're probably going to see a lot more traffic in the neighborhood over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Oh, it's
and
so great. You're
going
gonna see a lot more cars and-
and everything.
yes, it's gonna
and I
get
just
real
want to let
busy.
you know, here's my number if you ever need to call me about that. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Great.
Wait, I should call you about traffic?
No, yeah. If there's any concern or like,
Are you
that's what he
are
says.
you like on the next
No,
door
that's
app
what
now? I
no,
could go to you
bro,
like
that is what he says. Yeah,
Right.
But wait, did you hear about your neighbor?
yes.
No,
So,
but he just says
so
like
you're going to see a lot of
you
traffic.
see a lot of traffic, and I just want to let you know if you have any questions, please give me a call. Right? That's it.
That's beautiful.
Watch jab.
Right.
Then he
right.
calls in when it goes under contract. Now, the key for this is that you have to do it immediately. You have to do it within the 48 hours of
Right.
the status change, right? Because you're letting them in on a secret. Hey, Tom, it's Bill Pipes again.
Yeah.
Just to remind you, I'm the agent that actually now has sold the house for the Joneses right
Yeah.
down the street. You should see the traffic's going to subside now, right?
Yeah.
You won't see as many people that's going to take
That's-
place, right?
The traffic hook is just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I love it.
right?
I love it.
And so and then they'll always ask like,
Yeah, we noticed there was a lot of cars like this
what it,
weekend.
Hey, Tom, what did it sell for? Of
course.
Sorry, I can't tell you that right now, but I promise you, right, that you'll be the first person or one of the first people that I call the minute that I can actually let you know what it's sold for.
Okay.
Right? That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? And then
So
when
these
it-
are like just quick checking in, like you'd be checking with your buddy. Hey man, are we still on for the trip? Like you're
got
doing
it.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Watch. It's the proverbial Gary V. Jab. I'm jabbing.
Yep.
It's not the
Yep.
typical right hook
Yep.
of a circle
Yeah.
dial that
Yep.
just says, "Hey, I just sold this home, and let me tell you." Right.
Yeah.
And then the third call is, "Hey, Tom, it's Bill Pipes. I know. I promised that I would give you a call. I haven't even turned the keys over yet to the new homeowners.
Yes.
However, I want to let you know that house, the Joneses that we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
it's sold for blank. Right. We're able to do it in X amount of time. Right. What do you think about that price?
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
And-
Price is great.
right,
Yeah.
Beautiful. And they'll either say, wow, we think it's that, wow, that was really low or that was really high.
Sure.
Great. If they say it's high, you go, how do you think your home compares to that? Right?
Yeah,
Oh,
same
ours
question.
is what it's
Yep.
a similar thing that Jeff has at that point. And then you start to cycle into, well, if I could get you that price, is that something that you'd be interested in? Because
Yeah.
the problem I have is I got 4 other people that are going to be homeless that actually made offers on this property as well,
Yeah.
too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and Jason, like just over now, what happens is invariably he actually gets one, he gets an appointment, gets a listing,
so I wanna-
and then they see him again
Yeah.
on another. Hey, guess what, Tom?
Yep.
It's Jason Ferris again over here at Banana Real Estate.
Yeah. The
You know,
traffic's
there's-
coming back.
The traffic's coming back, right? Yeah.
Yes.
It's brilliant, man.
So one of the things I want to bring up to you guys is, obviously what we haven't said is like, hey, there's a do not call list, right? We need to pay attention to that. We're not telling our clients to call people that are on the do not call list. There's plenty of people that are not on the do not call list. Right? Same page, right? Just
Absolutely,
just for like
100%.
public service announcement for the one person that's like, well, what if they're on the do not call list? don't
And
call them.
Fortunately,
Right.
most of the services that you're going to use to
Yeah.
get the numbers in the first place
Already
are
scrubbed.
already
all this
scrubbed.
stuff.
And
So
hey,
I just want to clear that up.
You know, about the
Grab-
do not
grab-
call
grab-
list.
grab
About
it.
the do not call list.
Yes.
I got on that list like maybe 7 to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now I get all kinds of calls again. I think it's like for a certain time. It's not forever.
We should
We should look into that.
We need to fact check that. Fact check that.
Because
Yeah.
what I'm saying is
Yeah.
that it seems like there's a lot more calls than usual.
I still
There's
get
a lot
calls
of
by
robo.
politicians and people
Right.
still looking like to
Right,
raise money.
right,
Like
right.
somehow
But
they're
just
always
check,
calling. Yes.
check the rules on that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea for everybody. Everybody should, because it might also be state by state. Remember, like in New York right now, right? It's like they've kind of rebanned phone calls. Like you can't even call your friends, your past clients. You can't call anybody. Kind of nutty, but you can text them, right? Kind of. All right, so killer 2 points that every brand new agent, veteran agent, right? Because you took a super veteran who's also a business coach for us, and then Zach, a brand new agent. So that's a nice little spectrum. Jason, what do you got for our last one?
All right. I got 2. I got to pick one.
You can do 2, but you got to do it fast.
Well, yeah, right.
Because normally he talks really slow.
Yeah. All right. First one I would say is I want to go back to YouTube ads and I want to talk about the in-stream ads that we prefaced before.
Yes.
All right. So in-stream ads are you go to YouTube and you go to watch a video and a commercial starts to play before, during, and after.
Yep.
And it counts down from like 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, there's a skip ad option.
Yes.
Those are called true view in-stream ads. You're only paying if the viewer actually watches 30 seconds of the video,
Yeah, not
which
the
means
5.
if they skip the 5 seconds, it was a free impression basically.
Right.
Those ads are amazing, and there are 3 types of instances for when you can use those ads.
Mm-hmm.
You can use them for market update videos, for listing videos, and you can use them for any kind of a call to action type of video like, hey, do you want to get a free home valuation or something like that?
Yeah.
So I was sitting...
Okay, I got it really
Yeah, go
fast
ahead.
because like this. So the first 5 seconds is a free impression.
But you have to work it right.
Right. So a smart agent's going to say like some questions, some like when you like.
No, there's one way to hook them.
Okay, let's hear it.
You got in the first 5 seconds,
Yeah.
you must state the area you're talking to. So, for example,
I love
I
it.
was in
Okay,
my
all right.
I was sitting on my in-laws' deck in Virginia doing some work on my laptop, and I was looking at a YouTube video. I was actually going to watch a Gary Vee video, and a commercial started to play. And believe it or not, it was a real estate agent, and I was so proud.
Yes.
And he goes, "Hey, listen, if you're in the Roanoke Valley area looking to purchase a home in the next 6 months," and I looked up because there's a massive pattern interrupt when he
For
called
sure.
out my area.
Right,
Now it
right.
used to be that you could actually target down to a 1 mile radius.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore because they have privacy safe radiuses now due to fair housing kinds
Yes,
of changes, but you can
yes.
still target down to a subdivision level. So literally, if you could
Say it's
Are you-
subdivision thing.
Living in Irvine Terrace, did you know that your home value just whatever it is
Yes.
like that is really strong.
now just public service, not every subdivision is indexed in Google's list, but like let's say it's like Highland Park,
Highland
something
Park
like
is
that.
definitely there. Yeah.
Okay, so I could say like, hey, Highland Park homeowners, wanted to let you know that
Yeah.
we just sold your neighbor's property for 10% above asking price, blah, blah, blah. If you want all the details, click the link here. It goes to your website.
And that's all got to be under 5 seconds.
No,
Which is-
no.
no?
The only part that's to be under 5 seconds is, hey, Highland Park homeowners.
But
This is Jason
that's only
Pantana.
like 2 seconds.
I know, but I've already got them.
Okay.
That's one. So like any kind of a CTA-based thing.
Yeah.
Listing videos, announcements about just listed, just sold.
Mm-hmm.
Those are opportunities for YouTube in-stream ads. But also, one of our coaches, David Caldwell, in his
Yes.
business is just killing it with YouTube in-stream ads, where all he's doing is giving the market update news. He's making about a 2-minute video. It's the brass tacks of what's going on in Sherwood or Tigard or whatever
Yep.
the little city area is
Yes.
he's targeting.
Yep.
And he just gives them the facts. And from a targeting standpoint, he is simply targeting homeowners who live in that city.
Have you guys seen this? So he was in one of my masterminds in Orange County recently, and we're all talking. Everybody's talking about like best ideas and what's working. He's like, Tom said like 4 years ago that I should be doing how's the market videos, so I started, and I've been doing. And Dave, I'm not rousing you, but he's so stoic, right? And then also he's like, so I started doing it, and I got 11 listings last month that people just called me and said we're ready. And I watched like 20 of our top clients all go, oh God, he's told us to do that.
But how
much."
he does it is so
like-
simple.
Right.
Like, literally, it's simple.
Yeah.
So it's about a 2-minute video.
Yep.
What's crazy if you look at his viewership stats is
Yeah.
people can skip after 5 seconds,
Yes.
but about 70% are watching
2
almost
minutes.
all of it.
Yeah.
Almost
Yep.
all
Yep.
of it.
He
It's
shared that stat.
unbelievable. Because
why? Why?
Because YouTube and Google are really good at targeting the right people. They're going to optimize the delivery of the video to the people who want to watch it. He actually increased his spend to $10 a day. So he does a monthly market update. He targets like the city of Tigard, and then he does one for the city of Sherwood, and he has all of his little areas that he's targeting. Spends $10 a day for 30 days, and then does a new one every single time. And he only targets homeowners. And the reason he went from $5 to $10 is because he wants the same people to keep seeing it. If you actually look at the size of the audience, Tigard is a town of, I think, 60,000. About 2,000 people see it. But they keep seeing it. They keep seeing it. They keep seeing it.
Who's the person? Who's the agent they trust? They're like, that girl, right? She's the one. She's the one that tells me what's going on in the marketplace. I feel educated. I feel informed. And they fall in love with you on camera. Like they eventually they're just like, he's my guy. She's my gal. Like whatever.
Absolutely. And then there's a CTA. He's got a link. If you go to my website for some more information, he has the video embedded in a blog post, just like the Tom Ferry Show. And there's a little, hey, let's schedule an appointment form fill. And that's how he's getting the 11 listings. The people who have
and I want to just
interest.
say to everybody, like, you're not going to shoot one video and get 11 listings.
No, he did this for like a year and a half.
He told me, like, he said, like, years into this, that I was like, okay, well, there it is. Like, you become that late night with, Conan O'Brien, or he doesn't have that show anymore. It hasn't for a long time. But you all know what I'm talking about, right?
Throwback.
It's your whoever, but it's the same thing every night, every week. And you're like, oh, it's Friends. It's Tuesday. It's like 7 o'clock.
Absolutely.
Clearly, I don't watch any current television.
It's Thursday.
Well, I mean, whatever. Yeah, where everybody knows your name. Cheers. Yes.
On the latest
I might want to
episode.
look into television. I don't know. No one watches TV anymore.
Hence YouTube. We're talking about YouTube for that very reason.
Thank you very much.
All right, do I have time to do the other one really fast?
Real fast. And then you guys got to pipe in, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right. We call it an epic listing vlog. So you know what a blog is, a blog post, but a vlog is a video embedded into a blog post. So, for example, if I go to tomferryshow.com, tomferry.com, and I look at an old Tom Ferry show, or I look at a podcast or whatever, you will always notice that yours truly, Tom, always embeds the YouTube video in the blog post, and then they add additional text to support it. So that's a vlog, if you will. On your website for your next listing, what you do is you make a really great listing video. That's the epic listing video. An epic listing video, by definition, is, for our ecosystem of clients, is a listing video in which you, the agent, are showcasing the listing. You're the star. Hey, welcome to my brand new listing at blank, blank, blank. And then you bring them in and tour the house. That's an epic listing video. It's in the blog post with additional details about the property, including photos of the property. Photos that are geotagged of the address of the property to build the local SEO. So you go to geoimager.com, that's geoimgr.com. You actually plug in the coordinates of the actual listing into those photos. You put them up in the blog
You have
post.
to spend the money so you can do all 30 photos at once.
This is true.
You have to spend like whatever, $10 a month, but it's so worth it. Yes.
Yeah. So you put those in there. You could put some a form fill, schedule an appointment, whatever, and then you publish the vlog. You publish it, but then here's the last part you do. You go into Google Ads, ads.google.com, and you create a pay-per-click ad on that specific page. And you create targeting on keywords of whenever somebody searches for the address of this property or this neighborhood or any keyword that's related to the sale of this home, my ad's going to pop up at the top of the screen. I want to be above Zillow. I want to be above Realtor. I want to be above all of them at the top of the screen. And so all of a sudden, I become the dominant listing agent for that right there. And the goal would be that neighbors who are curious about it, Google it to try to figure out what it is, and then bam, I show up right in front of them. They're like, wow, I've never seen an agent do that. And it's another impression to position yourself as the dominant modern listing agent in your local marketplace.
I love it.
That's why I see Tom Ferry ads on Amazon.
Say that again.
Because he's tracking me.
I am tracking. How about, and I'm not going to say the gal's name, but she sent me a photo once. She's like, your ads are everywhere. And she sends me this text, and it's Tinder with my ad. And I was like, you're on Tinder.
Yeah, we talked about that. It's called content exclusions. If you don't want to be on those websites.
I do think we're off Tinder now. That's good. All right. So closing. First of all, guys, super fun. I have no idea how long this is going, but it's been super fun.
It's been
lots of great ideas.
15 ideas right here. I mean,
right, easily. So for my friend listening right now, and closing thoughts from all you guys, but I'm going to say first, ideas are meaningless unless you execute. So if you heard something today, you're like, that sounds hard. That means it's an opportunity for you to lean in, learn, get better. I'd go back through this entire list. And I could already see like Mark Keeley, who's our chief staff writer who does all of our blog. Like, imagine what he's going to write for this entire blog so you should go back to tomferry.com, whether you're on YouTube or wherever you are, and go read, because he's going to detail out everything these guys have said. And then the key for you is to say, now, which one do I want to do for the next 45 to 60 days? Right. Which one am I going to lean into and make this a big part of my campaign to figure out how I can generate more business, more opportunities, more listings, etc. So that's my point. What do you guys got?
So I say,
little coaching.
You know, I say along the line of what you just said is ideas don't work every time, but over time they work. It's all about consistency. Is exactly it. So follow an idea, follow it through, and get it done.
Yeah. Don't do it once. Right. Don't do it once. You got to do it to have some proof of what worked and what didn't. Bill.
So you have got to suck before you shine, meaning that you're going to implement some of this. Like, even if you choose one that you think is going to be
a better way to say that.
But you're not going to be good.
You're going to fail before you finish, right?
There you go.
I
like the way I said it. So I'm going to stick with that. So thank you. But you're going to start something. You're not going to be good at it. You're going to be, you've got to be able to put the time, the energy, the effort in to be able to actually get good at what it is that you're doing.
Right.
And I see where a majority of what normal agents do is they start something for a short period of time. They don't get the results. They don't give themselves the chance to not be good as they're evolving, and then they stop doing it when there's an opportunity to be able to have the breakthrough, the transformation that they're looking for. Right. So you got to be willing to not be good before you're going to be masterful at it. So give yourself the time, give yourself a little bit of patience as you're learning scripts, learning the dialogues, implementing the marketing, not getting the videos right, taking yourself 25 to 30 takes before you actually look at it and go, oh, that's finally the one. You're going to get better, but not if you stop.
Yeah. Love it. It's kind of like with your kids, right? It's the same thing.
Your kid doesn't fall down and you go, well, that's it.
All right, no more walking. That didn't work. Yeah.
The results are in the repetition, for sure. I would say, this is a lot of ideas. And which ones do you want to take? I would say look for the lowest hanging fruit. Yeah. If something that I said was oh, I could do that. I know how to do that. I'm skilled in one of those ad platforms. Great, start there. If that is a complete learning curve to you, I would suggest, hey, let's go with the low-hanging fruit. Was there a script you took away from today? Right. What's going to actually move the needle from a results standpoint? Because I think a lot of agents, at least the ones that I talk to a lot of people who feel like they're behind and they're not current and they're not doing enough to market themselves. And I find that to be a highly unproductive feeling because it's just emotions. And I would say, screw that. You're not going to be a master of everything. It's never going to happen. So what's the thing you took away from today that you can execute on quickly? Yep. And then like Bill and Jeff and you were saying, lock into it, keep doing it. You're not going to get the results right away. They come after a while of doing it. Yep. And then look for the next thing and add one thing at a time, and measure it, evolve it, test it, and get the results you want out of it. That's my input.
Yeah, I love it. All right, well, this has been super fun. So for all my friends out there watching, it's been a while since I've said like, share, make a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know what else you want us to do. It's the first time in the new studio, so kind of fired up about that. Nice to christen it here. So listen, thank you so much for being a part of this. Make sure you like, you share, you comment, all that good stuff, and then we'll see you next week on the Tom Ferry Podcast Experience. See you guys.